Chapter 6 Physical and Chemical Changes.
Changes around us. You must have outgrown your clothes and shoes of last year. Compare your current height and weight with that of last year. It changes as you are growing. What type of change is it? When you grow, there are a large number of new cells forming in your body. Is this process reversible? Will you classify growth as a physical change or a chemical change?
Introduction. In Class 6, we learnt about different types of changes. Let us quickly recall them. Reversible and irreversible changes. A change such as melting of ice, which can be reversed, is called a physical change. A change such as burning of a candle, which cannot be reversed, is called an irreversible change. Physical and chemical change. A change in which no new substance is formed is called as a physical change. A change in which a new substance is formed is called as a chemical change. Slow and fast change. A change which takes place over a long period of time is a slow change, whereas a change which occurs quickly is called a fast change. Desirable and undesirable change. A change which is beneficial for us is called a desirable change. A change which is harmful for us is called an undesirable change. Periodic and non-periodic change. A change which repeats after a definite interval of time is called a periodic change. A change which occurs randomly is called a non-periodic change. Let us learn more about physical and chemical changes.
Physical changes. You already know that a physical change is the one in which no new substance is formed. If you tear a piece of paper, what change occurs in it? The shape and size of the paper changes, but it still remains a paper. Similarly, breaking of glass and melting of ice are also physical changes. What happens in a physical change? Let us see what happens in a physical change at a microscopic level. All substances are made up of small particles. These particles are made from different elements. In a physical change, the arrangement of particles undergoes a change, but the nature and composition of particles remains the same. When you tear a paper, its size changes, but the type of particles in it remains same. If you melt or vaporize a substance, the packing of particles changes, but the particles remain the same. Similarly, if you dissolve a substance in water or any other liquid, its particles spread out in the liquid without any change in their nature. Following changes can occur in a physical change. Change in shape and size. In a physical change, the shape of an object can change. For example, molding of dough or plasticine clay. Similarly, breaking of glass or sharpening of pencil changes its size. Change in form. In a physical change, a substance can melt or vaporize. For example, change in state of water from solid to liquid or liquid to gas. Change in color. Sometimes in a physical change, a substance can show color change. This usually happens when you heat a metal. For example, if you heat iron, it will become red. On cooling, it gains back its original color.
Crystallization. Crystallization is a physical change in which crystals of compounds can be made from their solutions. This method is normally used to purify an impure sample of a substance. The substance is dissolved in minimum amount of a solvent at a high temperature. Then the impurities are removed by filtration and the solution is concentrated by vaporizing the solvent. When the concentrated solution is cooled, it forms crystals of the pure substance.
Chemical changes. A chemical change is the one in which a new substance is formed. As it was mentioned earlier, every substance is made up of small particles. If these particles undergo a change in their composition, a new substance will be formed. For example, if you pass electric current into water, the particles of water break down into oxygen and hydrogen gas. The nature of oxygen and hydrogen particles is very different from water. Such change is called a chemical change or a chemical reaction. A chemical change usually shows one or more of the following: change in color, change in smell, evolution of a gas, formation of a solid, release of heat or light. Sometimes there is no visible change in a chemical process, but there may be a change which can be detected by complex methods.
Let us study few chemical changes.
Useful chemical changes. Photosynthesis is a chemical change that provides us with food. In photosynthesis, green leaves of plants change carbon dioxide and water into glucose with the help of sunlight. Respiration is a chemical change in which energy is produced in our body. The glucose is broken down in presence of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. Cooking of food is a chemical change as raw food undergoes a change in its composition. Making of curd from milk is a chemical change carried out by a bacteria. Metals are extracted from their ores by various chemical processes. Medicines are made by complex chemical processes. Burning of fuel to produce energy is a chemical change. There are many more chemical changes that take place all around us. Now can you tell if your growing up is a physical or a chemical change? Undesirable chemical changes. Pollution is an undesirable chemical change as it is harmful for our health as well as environment. Spoiling of food is an undesirable chemical change. Corrosion of metals is an undesirable chemical change as it leads to loss of metals. Let us study more about corrosion.
Corrosion. When things made of metals are exposed to air, they may react with oxygen, water vapor, or carbon dioxide to form chemical compounds. The layers of metal keep reacting to form such compounds which are not useful. Such wasting of metal is called corrosion. Thus, corrosion can be defined as the slow wasting of metal on exposure to air and moisture. Metals like iron, copper, and silver corrode very easily. Rusting. Corrosion of iron is called rusting. An iron object reacts with oxygen and water vapor in air to form a brown-colored solid called rust. Rust keeps falling off, eating away all the iron. Keep a wet iron nail on a plate for a few hours. You will see it gets covered with a brown layer of rust. Rusting of iron can cause a lot of damage to industries as iron is mainly used in making machines and also in construction. Rusting takes place in presence of air and moisture both.
Prevention of rusting. Rusting can be controlled by various methods. Some of them are as follows. Greasing. Parts of machines are coated with a layer of grease or oil to break their contact with air. Galvanization. Iron objects are coated with a layer of zinc metal to prevent rusting. Galvanized iron is used to make drums, buckets, etc. Electroplating. Iron objects are coated with a layer of less reactive metal like chromium by electrolysis. Electroplated metals are used to make crockery, cutlery, bathroom fittings, and decorative things. Alloying. Iron is mixed with small amounts of other elements like carbon, nickel, chromium, etc. to form alloys which are resistant to rusting. For example, for construction purposes, steel is used which is a mixture of iron with a small amount of carbon. Steel is more resistant to rusting than iron. Stainless steel is an alloy of iron with nickel and chromium. It does not rust easily and hence is used to make cooking and eating utensils.